グレートがユナイテッドエンパイア。今日は試合があった。そして彼がエンパイアの応援してくれるんですよ。みんな、ブローキンテーブルポッドキャストよろしく。
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Broken Tables podcast. I'm your host, Jeffrey Vegas, here with our co-host, as always, King Rome. How you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing really good, Jeff. Jeff, you know what? Actually, I gotta tell you about this funny thing. So you remember how we talk about that commercial for that movie, Smile, with the creepy smiley?
Yes, that I can't even look at. I have to look away from the television.
So did you see the marketing campaign for this?
No.
Okay. So I meant to tell you this yesterday when we were at Dynamite, and I forgot. So they had, and I want you to look this up later so you can see how fucking creepy it is. They hired actors to go. They were behind Good Morning America. They were at a bunch of baseball games last weekend and a few NFL games last weekend, and apparently they're going to be more this weekend. They hired people to just stand in the stands and just fucking smile for the whole time. And
no, dude, no.
I've seen it, and you have to look it up just to see it. It's so fucking creepy. Like, they put them behind home plate at all the baseball games, and this one chick is just staring at the camera, dead on, just smiling for the entire game, 45 minutes.
God.
It was wild.
I would freak out. But everybody, welcome to a special Thursday edition of the Broken Tables podcast. If you didn't know, we were at AEW Dynamite last night in Philadelphia at the Liacouras Center. So Rome, seems like the Philly crowd is getting a little bit of shit for apparently sitting on our asses all night last night, when I thought that was hilarious, since there's a story that you're going to be telling us soon about basically some guys getting into a fight almost because of someone not sitting down. So I was very surprised to hear that we were sitting on our asses all night.
Yeah, Twitter a lot that we weren't a very good crowd, and I think the problem is that people don't know, because you're not from here, is the Liacouras Center is an awful
acoustics.
Not even yes, acoustics, but I hate the Liacouras Center. It's an awful venue. The parking is a joke. The area it's in is not a good part of town. The acoustics are fucking terrible. AEW is literally the only thing I would ever even consider going to Liacouras Center for. Yeah. My favorite art, Green Day or anybody like that, could be playing at the Liacouras Center, and I'd be like, fuck no.
Now, you know Philly way better than I do. Is there an alternative besides the Wells Fargo Center?
Oh, I mean, off the top of my head, of that size, probably not.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No, not really. I mean, not of that size.
I was hoping there was, but I kept trying to think of one. I couldn't come up with anything, so.
There might be some sort of theater or auditorium, but again, you're talking about AEW. You're talking about, you want to be able to at least seat 5,000.
Yeah.
If you can't seat 5,000, you shouldn't run that building with AEW. It's a shame that WWE has this slimy ass contract where they force Wells Fargo Center where you can't compete. Wells Fargo Center is not allowed to run any other wrestling promotion, which is just
yeah.
You sit here every week and I say how much I fucking hate them. It's well, it's shit like that I just can't stand. It's
right.
Slimy and I don't like it. But I mean, at the end of the day, it was an excellent show. Had a great time. AEW itself is an experience. If you haven't been to an AEW show, you absolutely should go.
Oh yeah.
It's just it's just fucking incredible. And I figured, you know, we're gonna go through the matches and stuff, but let's talk about like just in general, you know, going to the show. So Jeff, we went to the meet and greets.
Yes.
I met the Acclaimed, and you met the Acclaimed Danhausen and Tony Storm. Why don't you tell me about Tony Storm and Danhausen?
So Tony Storm, she looked great in person, obviously. She sounded, she was very quiet, and she immediately was just like, "Who wants to hold the belt?" And she like shoved the belt towards us, and I was like, "Oh yeah, the wife definitely." So the wife got to hold the belt for the photo. And that was the actual women's title. It was heavy as hell, man. So yeah, Tony Storm was super super nice. She kind of seemed like she had just woken up, to be honest. She was a little sleepy, but maybe that's just how she is, because I've seen her like that in some of those press conferences and stuff like that as well. Now, Danhausen was a little, I don't want to say an awkward experience, because you would imagine that, but it was awkward in a different way. Like he wasn't in character while he was in full gear. You know what I mean? So he was in the full Danhausen outfit and face paint. But when he talked to us, he was just like, "Hey guys, how's it going? Thanks for coming out." You know what I mean? And like, it wasn't Danhausen talking to us. But it was still awesome. I got cursed. I think I did have that foot. Remember I was saying my foot was cramping up? That's
Oh yeah,
actually pretty funny. I totally forgot about getting cursed by him.
yeah. Well, so yeah, that was Danhausen and Tony Storm. But let me tell you, man, the Acclaimed were just the fucking coolest dudes. Like
They are great.
it was so awesome. I got in the Acclaimed line while you got in the other two lines. So I met the Acclaimed first. And they were so appreciative because I was there in an Acclaimed shirt, not this one. I brought the one I already owned. I bought this at the show. But they saw me in the shirt and they were just like, "We really appreciate you, rocking our merch and stuff like that." And I was like, "Yeah, no problem, guys." I told them I was so fucking stoked when they won last week,
Yeah.
won the world tag titles last week. They joked, "Oh, so were we," which was funny. But they were like, "No, seriously, thank you for buying the merch," and just they were really cool. Got a picture with them, got to meet them, and then much like you did, Jeff, I was able to get this. See if I can get the
There
lighting
you
to
go.
cooperate. Yeah, got a signed autograph from them, so that was really cool.
Oh, that's sick.
Um, but yeah, man, meeting the Acclaim, like it was a little pricey, and I think AEW could do a better job with their meet and greets in a sense of letting them have a little bit of time. I understand you like the Acclaim sold out, so you can only do so much, but um, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah,
But they were really cool. They were
they were
fucking
hilarious when I went up to them as well. I had him sign mine to the Broken Tables podcast, and Bowens, he had the pen. And when I said, the Broken Tables podcast, his eyes got all wide, and Max was like, "Can you write that, Bowens?" And he was like, "No." So he handed the marker to Max, and he looked me dead in the eyes. This was Anthony Bowens, and he's like, "Bro, my handwriting is horrifying." And I was like, "Adam Cole's is pretty bad too." And he was just like, "Yeah, okay."
yeah. Yeah, I had Max sign mine. Mine was signed by Max.
Nice. Wonder if that was a little bit that they were doing, but it was pretty funny. He was like, "Dude, my handwriting's horrifying. You don't want me to do that."
But yeah, no, they were super cool. That was a really awesome moment. I mean, again, like if you have the money and you can do these meet and greets, like if it's the Acclaim, I can't speak for everyone that does these, but the Acclaim was legitimately a fucking really cool to meet them. It
Yeah,
was really
so
awesome.
here's ours from the Acclaimed to the Broken Tables podcast. All right, and then we got here Danhausen to the Broken Tables podcast. Oh, he actually wrote the Broken Tables podcast Hausen. That's awesome.
Mhm. That's cool.
And then Tony Storm as well. She's got that handwriting like mine, where you write everything in capital letters and it's impossible for it to look terrible. So that's
Yeah,
cool.
I mean, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Nah, yeah.
But so I mean, after that, went to the merch stand. I was able to get this shirt, which was
Whoa, scissor me,
So, Jeff, you
daddy.
weren't there at the time, but this is actually a really funny story about the shirt. So, I was with Juhas, as you remember. We went to the merch stand, um, and AEW is a little weird sometimes with their merch at the merch stand in a sense that like the sizes. Sometimes they have my size, which like I'm kind of like between a 2 and a 3X.
Mm-hmm.
More so like the 2X is fine with like my size. It's my height that becomes the issue with that. But they only had like this shirt in the size that was going to work for me, and so I wanted this shirt anyway. So this is the one I wanted. I asked for it. Juhas was in front of me in line. He wanted the what's up, Juhas? Yeah, there you go. He's here. Um, but so Juhas wanted this shirt as well, so he got the shirt, and then I asked for the same shirt in the same size, and they were like, "We just gave it to that guy," and I just turned, and it's fucking Juhas, and I'm like, "Damn." And Juhas is like, "Oh no!" But luckily, I bought a string bag to hold the autograph, and right as I'm like about to leave, he's like, "Oh wait, holy shit, we found one more." And so they actually had this, so I was able to get it. But that was really cool.
Yeah, and then I'll show my purchase as well. I was gonna try to buy like the sweater and a bunch of shirts, but as soon as I saw this, I could not pass this one up. We got the autographed MJF figure. Oh, had the exact same figure in that spot before, but now it has gotten an upgrade.
So, anyways, after that, so we start heading to our seats, and we discover that we were in prime seating.
Oh my.
You kept going down and down. You're like, how low are we? And then you were like, oh, it's row B. It must be down pretty far. No, row B is actually row A at the Leah Core Center.
Yeah, that
so
was weird.
We were in the first row that wasn't on the ground floor.
Yep. And the difference in price was like $500 for us to be 3 feet forward.
Yeah, which is wild. But you know, these seats ended up being a blessing, but also a curse, as we will get into.
Yeah. I would say I would agree with that. We'll get into that in a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, we can talk about the seats in general. Well, you know, we'll get to it when we get to the story.
Yeah.
So, so we get there. Obviously, they did something a little different this time in the order in which they do the show. I don't know if you kind of picked up on that. Usually, they would start Elevation at 7, go for an hour, and then go right into Dynamite. This time around, I don't know if it's something they've been doing because we haven't been to a live show in like 4 months, 5 months. But they did this thing where they started Elevation at like 6:45, 6:40, and then like had 20 minutes between Elevation and Dynamite. And I thought that it was kind of a weird decision to do that. I think Elevation is kind of like the point where you're like, all right, guys, time to get to your seats. Let's get shit together and get in the seats for Dynamite. But they started them early, and they didn't sell or they didn't list that the matches were starting early, but they started 20 minutes early. Luckily, I was ready to go because when I go to a thing, whether it be an Eagles game or wrestling show, I get what I need before the show, and then I'm in my seat the whole show. You'll never see me get up. Like, I don't think I've ever gotten up for anything to date. But you know, that was a weird little thing. We get to Elevation. We're not going to run through all the Elevation spoilers. I thought it was a Juhas saying I just got to work.
Yep, we'll be getting to that, Juhas, for sure.
Yeah, we'll get to it. Stick around. He just got to work, though. That sucks. So Elevation, not going to go through all the spoilers. Some cool things that are definitely worth mentioning, though. The Dalton Castle and the boys defended their ROH 6-man tag team championships. That was really cool to see.
So I actually want to stop you right there real quick because while we were walking back to our car to leave the event, I noticed these guys who were walking right alongside us had some suitcases, and one of them was wearing a jacket that said Dojo on it, and I'm assuming that's the LA Dojo for New Japan, right? So as I looked at the 3 of these guys, I was like, those are the opponents for Dalton Castle and the boys in the trios match. And I was like, hey, were you guys in that trios match? And they were like, yeah, man. I was like, dude, great job. You guys are awesome. And they started talking to each other. And the one guy was like, hey, have you ever done the boys? He's like, I've done it a couple times. And the one guy was like, yeah, man, I've been the boys a few times. So the guys who were the opponents for Dalton Castle and the boys a couple of them had actually been boys in the past. So I thought that was really cool that he kind of alternates through these guys. And it's not like specific dudes are the boys. It's just he can rotate through them. They could be different guys all the time. I like that.
Well, the guys that are teaming with him have been the same boys.
They have been for a while, you are right, but I'm wondering if they'll make it to where it's just like, if one of them gets good enough, they just move him to a different thing and then replace him with someone,
Maybe. I don't know. So that was cool. Funny story that happened during Elevation, and again, it's why I don't leave my seat. So we're sitting there, and you know exactly what I'm about to say.
Oh, yeah.
So we're sitting there, and it's a tag match, and it was Dante Martin and Tony Deppen, who's a Philly wrestler, and they come out. And Jeff and Purple, they're like, we have to get up. And where were you guys going?
We were going to the merch stand because we didn't get to go yet.
Okay. So yeah, all right, because you guys went at the end of the show. You guys wanted to go to the merch stand, and Dante Martin comes down. You're like, yeah, I don't care about this. Let's go. So they get up and leave. I'm just sitting there by myself, and I'm like, oh, I wonder who Dante Martin and Tony Deppen are gonna face. And I hear Seattle.
Yeah,
And it's the Lucha Brothers, and I just started laughing. The people around me must have thought I was fucking insane because I was just dying because I knew that I was gonna see Jeff and Purple very shortly.
As soon as I heard it, I stopped and I realized, okay, she's definitely gonna be turning around to go back. When I turned around, there was just a puff of white smoke in the shape of Purple where she was standing, and she was already back at her seat with her camera up filming. Like,
it was hilarious because I knew they came back and I was like, welcome back.
Yeah, that was really funny.
Oh, it's hilarious. But yeah, Elevation was really good this week. I thought there was some cool stuff. We saw Cheeseburger wrestle. And yeah, I mean, I didn't write Elevation down, but there's some good stuff on there. I would recommend it this week. Best Friends wrestle. The main event was really cool. It was an 8-man tag. I'd recommend it.
Yep, absolutely.
But anyway, so let's get into Dynamite. I guess we'll talk about where we were first, kind of. For those of you who saw our banner on Dynamite and checked us out, welcome. Appreciate you guys checking us out. Those seats were really good, and I ended up being kind of in the middle of the hard cam the entire night. And people were blocking up my phone. I had a few texts from a few people, including Forrest. He was like, damn, bro, you're in fucking everything.
And the funny part is everyone's like, bro, get off your phone. And it's like, you're texting me. I'm reading the text you sent me.
Yeah, well, that only happened at the beginning of the show. Afterwards, I kind of put it. I don't like going on my phone during these shows either.
Yeah.
Like I paid for my ticket. And I just want to see as much of it as I can and experience it.
Mm-hmm.
It was actually funny. It was something that happened to me at a Green Day concert. I went to a Green Day concert, and Billy Joe, like everyone was taking his picture and tweeting about it and stuff, and everyone in my section was like taking pictures for Instagram. He's like, guys, put your fucking phones away. Live in the moment. Like. No, it's funny, but it was so true. Where he's like, live in the moment, like just enjoy this moment, because like those pictures, you could take a picture of me, you could just as easily Google Billy Joe Philadelphia, and like there you go, there's your picture.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that's kind of true. So I'm very limited. That's why I kind of let you and Purple take pictures because I know you guys are gonna do it anyway.
Oh, she's obsessed. She takes videos of the matches and all that.
And there's nothing wrong with that either. Like,
yo, what up, T?
It's just. What's up, Big T? Look at that. I missed Big T. It's been a minute.
Really man, we were at Dynamite last night, so we decided to do the podcast here tonight. Thanks for joining us.
But yeah, so I don't like taking a lot of pictures. I take a few, but I don't go too crazy with it. But we were dead center on the hard cam. We got some good shots of the sign, our banner. And yeah, it was a really, really fun show all around, but let's get into it. Are you ready?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Go ahead.
All right. So we opened up the show, and keep in mind, we don't have any notes, but we were there. And also, I did rewatch Dynamite today because I worked from home. So first up, we had the Jericho Appreciation Society Championship celebration. So basically, we have... Yeah, Big T saw me a bunch this morning. Dude, I was like literally opening up Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and just seeing AEW's clips, and I'm just like there.
Like I should have said it the way Big T typed it, like Enzo Amore. What do we got over here?
Cup of Haynes. So yeah, we open with the Jericho Appreciation Society. They all come out with these purple suits. They got pizza,
Which were great, by the
flowers,
way.
8 balloons, and fucking Luigi Primo is back
My Luigi Primo, making the best of pizza from a New Yorker.
from New York. Um, and basically, they're going on about how Jericho's the GOAT and he's Ocho and he's the world champion, Ring of Honor world champion. Daddy Magic mentions why he brought Luigi Primo in, mentions the connection about the New York. He makes the best pizza from New York. A lot of good heel work in Philly last night. A lot of easy heat, but it's still valuable. Um, Basically, they're talking on and on about how Jericho's the greatest and all this, that. And then they point out Daniel Garcia, and they talk about Daniel Garcia and how he's the Ring of Honor Pure Champion, and he is the greatest technical sports entertainer. And Jericho mentions how he's honorable and he fits the Ring of Honor brand so well. He redubs it the Ring of Jericho, and Daniel Garcia is very upset at Jericho saying he's honorable because Jericho has done nothing but cheat for the last month to win all of his matches. So at this point, Jericho reveals that he got Daniel Garcia a gift. Garcia opens it up, and it is this hideous, hideous fucking purple bucket hat.
Oh god, that thing was horrifying.
He puts it on his head, and he was just like, no, no. Takes it off. Brian Danielson comes out, and Brian Danielson basically says, you're a man, you're an adult. I'm going to treat you like an adult. If you want to be with Jericho and the JAS, do that. If you want to be with me and the Blackpool Combat Club, do that. You make the fucking choice. Jericho gets mad at this. Garcia steps in the way and basically talks about like what he could do that would be entertaining, throwing the pizza on the ground, or knocking out Luigi Primo, which he ends up doing, or Justin Roberts, like tag team with Justin Roberts, which everyone's like, oh yeah, that would all be really fun. And then he's like, what if I team with Brian Danielson? And of course, we fucking love that. That's amazing. Um, Jericho gets mad again, and we basically kind of get a setup here for a tag match next week on the Dynamite anniversary, which we'll get to the card later. I do have that. But in the meantime, we get set up for Brian Danielson versus Daddy Magic Matt Menard. And this was a really, really fun opening segment. I know that this segment gets a lot of criticism. I saw it on Twitter. A lot of people thought it was a very WWE-esque thing to do to kind of start with a promo.
A very
I'm of the
sports
opinion,
entertaining thing to do.
sure. I'm of the opinion that there's nothing wrong with starting your show with a promo as long as it's one of your better promos of the night.
Which it
Um,
was, yes.
which it was. I thought that this was an excellent segment. I loved it. I was so into it. It was a great way to start Dynamite. Everybody was into it. We were chanting, "We want pizza." Jericho said, "You guys want pizza?" And we're like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, you can't have it. You can't have it." So we chanted, "We want pizza" a lot last night. Anytime Jericho was in the ring, I think we chanted it.
Yeah, that was a lot of "We Want Pizza" chants. Like throughout the entire night, anytime someone saw Jericho or any from the Jericho Appreciation Society, it was "We want pizza."
So yeah, I love this segment. I thought it was really good. It was a funny segment. It was meant to be funny. It was very Jericho esque. Like this felt like something that Jericho was like, we're gonna have a celebration, and we're gonna have like this whole big thing.
Yeah.
Like
The
it was a
balloons.
Jericho brainchild where Jericho was just pizza and flowers and balloons and purple suits. You know what I mean? And Luigi Primo, and it's just over the top, but in a good way.
Yo, speaking of Luigi, man, props to him for tossing that pizza for a good 10 minutes straight till he got knocked out, and then he laid there unconscious for another like 5 minutes till Sammy drug him over his shoulder.
Yeah, yeah, it was hilarious.
It was great.
Why is Juan deleting Purple's chats?
Wait, what?
Juan is deleting all Purple's messages in chat.
Why?
I don't know. I'm just telling you what the chat's saying. Anyways,
It was
moving on.
autocorrect? Yeah, that's the boss's wife, bruh. Hold on. Says you timed her out as well.
Mm.
All
All right.
right. Keep going.
No worries. So what led to that was a match with Bryan Danielson and Daddy Magic Matt Menard. I thought this was a really strong opener. I thought it was pretty good. It wasn't the best match of the night, or the second best for that matter, but it was a fun opener. And Bryan Danielson is the man. I fucking love him. He had a line during that promo where he said that he's the heart of professional wrestling, and that may just be the truest statement I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, but this was a great match. What did you think of this segment and the match that followed?
So, I love Daddy Magic. So, seeing those two on the mic up against each other first and then having a match immediately after, I was in heaven right here, man. Like, I loved the match. Daddy Magic he's great in singles matches. A lot of people think, he's just a tag team because that's mostly what they do. But he was great in this singles match with Danielson. And like I said, man, I was in heaven for the whole thing from beginning to end.
Yeah, again, great segment. Again, apologize for lack of notes, but yeah, it was just in general great segment. We also kind of saw 2.0 address Daniel Garcia during the segment as well. Where they're like, "How dare
Yeah.
you? We picked you up when you were nothing." Anna Jay screaming. That was also fucking excellent. I really love this change of direction for Anna Jay. It's crazy. It's almost like these people in the Dark Order are super talented, and if you give them something to do, it's good. Like, wow, no way. We'll talk about it when we get to Rampage, but I was the only man in the building that booed the Dark Order for the Rampage main event. It's just so everyone knows.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, he kept covering her face with the sign. I mean, as much as I was as well, but
well, so I actually kind of wanted to touch on that, Jeff. You kept saying you were really upset about the guy behind you also, like not seeing. When I rewatched Dynamite tonight, you know that he also had a huge sign and was blocking people behind him.
I wasn't upset with it. I was just worried about us, being assholes. That's all. And I just wanted to make sure we didn't go overboard with it. That was all.
No, I understand, but I'm just saying, a few times you were like, "Oh, I just felt bad for the guy behind me," and I was like, "No," like, I'm watching it
Yeah.
today, and I'm like, "He did it way more than you did it." Like the people behind him were
Yeah.
probably mad at him.
To be fair, Big T, those chairs are pretty tight. Like we had to put up the armrest on one of them because like you almost didn't even fit in those chairs.
Although I will say the sign that was next to purple was it was fun. That was a beautiful
Yeah,
sign.
his sign said Khan is greater than Triple H.
He is indeed. Anyways, so yeah, this was an excellent match. Bryan Danielson ends up defeating Menard via submission here. Again, this was a really fun opener that everybody was into. People just fucking love Bryan Danielson.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, how can you not? I mean, if you don't like Bryan Danielson, you're probably just a WWE shill who hates that he left. But I mean, other than that, there is no, way, shape, or form you're gonna hate this guy, as a wrestler, I guess.
Yeah. Next up, we had MJF and Wheeler Yuta promo. So, fun fact that we forgot to mention: before Dynamite aired, they played a video package for the crowd about MJF. He was wearing his Mets jersey as he was when he was on Dynamite. He was singing the Mets fight song and talking about how the Jags were going to kick the Eagles' ass this weekend. Clearly making fun, taking shots at the Phillies and the Eagles, which they could take all the shots they want at the Phillies. It's well deserved. They are currently collapsing. In fact, the collapse is already completed, basically.
Of
Let's
who?
not talk about, huh?
From who? The Phillies?
Yeah, let's not talk about
Yeah.
the Phillies. We talk about the Eagles though. They're 3-0. A
Hell
lot
yeah.
of fun Eagles stuff that happened later in the night too. But anyways, so we get hyped that MJF's about to come out. Before he comes out though, Wheeler Yuta marches down to the ring and goes to do what was his best on the mic work to date.
Absolutely.
There were some things that I had issues with. Not really issues with necessarily. I think he had the intensity down, which is really good. But I think that you gotta let guys like him go and do their own promo work. You know what I mean? Like these guys are your next generation. Like you gotta put the mic in their hands and let them figure it out. You gotta let Yuta figure it out. You gotta let Garcia figure it out. You gotta let Lee Moriarty figure it out. Like these guys, they're the future. They're going to be here. 7-8 years from now, probably. let them get the reps and let them do it now, so that way they're even better in the future. That being said, like, he really held his own here against MJF. He's basically talking about how MJF is just a shit talker and he's going to say all this shit, but he just wants to fight MJF. He talks about, he's like, he's probably going to take shots at the Phillies who suck. He's going to take shots at this, that, and the third. And, MJF comes out and he says he has respect for Wheeler Yuta. He says that, he's one of the best pro wrestlers in the world, which, again, it's really smart here of MJF to make sure he's putting over Yuta before he gets to do a feud with him, because a lot of people will not place Yuta on the same level as MJF, nor should they, because of MJF's character and promo work.
Yeah.
But, I think that they've done a phenomenal job here building up this match next week between Yuta and MJF. But so MJF's kind of, again, the one thing that I found really enjoyable was he does make a line about the Phillies. And Wheeler Yuta points out, like, oh, look, see, exactly like I fucking said. Can we just get to the fight? Which I thought that was really good. I don't know if that was planned or not, but that was a really cool little spot where he's just like, yeah, Yuta already knows how this is going down. Yuta kind of ends his promo with the line that he wants to leave him bloodied on Broad Street, which, if you're not from Philly, Broad Street is basically the main the main street that goes through the city. If you're going anywhere in the actual city, most times you will cross Broad Street. Very hard to avoid Broad Street.
And if you know anything about the Flyers, they were the
part. And I thought MJF was also phenomenal. Just excellent promo work by MJF, and Wheeler's best promo work to date.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Flyers were the Broad Street bullies because, the stadiums are on Broad Street, I believe, right?
Yeah, the Flyers back in the day, when they were real tough guys, they were called the Broad Street bullies.
So Big T says, do you guys think we're actually going to get this match with MJF and Wheeler? And yes, I do, because it is definitely advertised, for Wednesday, Wheeler Yuta versus MJF. What kind of match are we gonna get? Does he cheat right off the bat with like Morrissey destroying Wheeler or something so he can win in 2 seconds? Maybe, but I do think, excuse me, I do think we get a bell ring and we do get a match.
I agree. I think there's a lot of good build up here in very quick turnaround. By the way, this is a 2-week build for this match that kind of came out of nowhere, and I think it's stellar. I think that they went into tonight with the idea that, as over as MJF is, we need to boo him. He is a heel. The weeks prior to this, he was heavily cheered for about 90% of his work. I think that they are trying very hard right now to make MJF be booed. He pushed Shivani last week. He took another verbal shot at Shivani yesterday. And again, shitting on the local teams, and they succeeded. The Philly crowd was not cheering him.
They gave us like 2 different video packages of MJF that weren't aired on TV, as far as I know. You know what I mean? To get us to boo him. So you're dead on right there. They were definitely trying, and it worked. That whole thing where he sang the Mets song, and they put it on repeat. I think we got it for about 5 minutes straight, where he was singing the Mets fight song. I mean, if you want to get someone booed in Philly, sing the Mets fight song for 5 minutes straight.
Yeah.
What's effed up, Juan?
Yeah.
You let me know in chat.
Yeah, let us know. But so this was a really excellent promo that does set up to a match next week, which we'll talk about the card. I thought this was a home run of a segment. I thought that Yuta looked fucking phenomenal. It was his best work. MJF is MJF, just being generational. And again, just being the heel. He had the ass boys come out to say his catchphrase. Like, literally everything MJF did tonight was to make sure he's like, I'm the heel, you're going to boo me. Like, you're going to hate me. I'm not going to do anything. And he does that to put Wheeler Yuta over, because, like, you need Yuta to be a credible threat to him as a credible babyface. And so when you go into DC next week, you want that crowd to be for Yuta mostly. And it needs to be a primarily Yuta crowd. I don't know if it will be or not, but I think that's what they were going for.
Yeah, in DC, I think you could say that they don't like New York as well. You got the Washington Commanders team down there, and the Nationals. I think They're in the same division as Phillies, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so we're all in that same division. So I think Washington has just as much, if not a little bit more, hate for New York. You know what I mean? So I think it'll definitely be a pro Utah crowd down there.
Yeah, definitely.
Although it's near impossible to boo this guy, man. MJF is he's a generational talent. You know what I mean? It's wild.
I agree. I agree. You know, we were talking about this in the Discord last night, me and Juhas. I think that you're doing a heel a disservice. Like, I will cheer heels. I'm not saying I won't. But I think at the end of the day, you kind of need to give that heel his respect, and if he's doing a good job at being a heel, you need to acknowledge it and boo him. Now, like, obviously fans are fans, they're going to cheer who they want and boo who they want. I'm the same way. I just think to a certain degree, to a certain level, like last night it was really clear that if MJF said something I didn't like, I'm going to boo him. If he said fuck the Eagles, which he did,
Oh yeah.
I'm going to boo him. You know, like, yeah, I'm upset that the Phillies are collapsing, but if he talking shit about the Phillies, I'm going to boo him. You know, saying stuff like that. I'm gonna boo him. Jericho said we can't have pizza. I booed him. I wanted pizza. What's wrong with wanting pizza?
I actually thought it was pretty funny now that you go back to the Jericho thing when, Anna Jay was like, "You're not getting pizza." No, she was like freaking out. And then Jericho was kind of like, "You guys really want pizza?" It was almost like he was really going to give it to us. You know what I mean? But then he was just like, "No."
You can't have it.
Like, damn it.
So good. So good.
Dude, that would have been one of the most incredible opportunities for Tony to be like, "Yo, order like 50 Domino's pizzas and go put them in the freaking hall." But obviously, like, they sell food there. It wouldn't have gone over. You know what I mean? But man, that would have been really cool.
It wouldn't have worked, but it would have been really cool. So after that, we had the AEW World Heavyweight Championship Eliminator match, Jon Moxley versus Juice Robinson. Again, for the people who are too lazy to use Google, Juice Robinson is one of the only guys who holds a victory over Jon Moxley in the year 2022, which is why he was getting this Eliminator match. Because things make sense. They really do. If you Google it, it's not very hard. Tony Khan has been catering to the dummies a little bit. He's making these video packages, which I don't have a problem with necessarily, but it's like, okay, well, it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah.
Not that I don't like the video packages. I think they're really good to have, like, on the road to, and, like, you know what I mean, the control center the morning of. I think that those are the spots to have those videos, but that's just me.
Yeah, those control center videos are awesome. They get me pumped.
They really do.
And it also helps.
So yeah, this was sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say it also helps know what the card's gonna be sometimes,
Yeah. So this was a really good match. I'm gonna go ahead and tell my story.
Go for it.
All right, you can give it to me if you want the screen. Purple's back. Great, glad. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing excellent, sir.
This is a great story. This is a really funny story. So there was almost a huge fight at Dynamite next to me.
Literally the seat next to you.
Literally the seat next to me. Like, this is no exaggeration. The seat next to me. So as we've been talking about, really good seats. There was one downside to these seats. The one thing that I did not like about these seats. They are the first row up from the ground. So there's no one in front of us but the ground floor, like the chairs, the folding chairs. So, Big T, yes, those two guys. Oh yeah, well yeah, you guys saw them on the hard cam. If you go back and look at them, they're on the hard cam, and you can go back and watch the Jon Moxley match because it happened during this match, and you can see the story that I'm telling happen in real time. It's fucking hilarious. So, anyways, so the one downside about these seats was if the people on the floor were standing, we couldn't see anything because we weren't far enough off the ground to see over their heads. Even me, I'm 6'1", 6'2". I couldn't see over their heads. So I paid for my ticket. I paid to watch wrestling, as did everybody in the building, as did everybody in that row. So whenever the crowd in front of us stood up, we would stand up. And this is my first time being in the front row of a crowd like that. So this is probably a thing at every single show. I guarantee you. But so for this match, for this Moxley Juice Robinson match, for some reason, because this isn't even the best match of the night. Not at all. It's a great match, but not the best match. The people on the hard cam side of the floor wanted to stand for the entire match. So what did we do? We stood up. Old man Jeff, his knees gave out. He sat down. It's the truth. Tell me when I'm telling lies, Jeff.
Oh yeah, it was my foot. Danhausen cursed me. Do you remember my foot started cramping? I shit you guys not. My left foot started cramping up for no reason whatsoever.
So, yeah. So, I'm just thinking over it. It's so funny. So we all stand up, and the crowd behind us, they were upset. We started hearing people like started getting angry. I hear behind me, sit the fuck down. Like, yo, buddy, sit the fuck down. Now, me with my ever ongoing millennial anxiety that I continue to deal with to this day, I'm thinking, oh fuck, they're talking about me. I'm gonna have to turn around and deal with this. I'm not looking forward to this at all. So I go to turn around and I go to tell them like, hey, they're standing in front of me. So I'm going to be standing while they're standing so I can watch the match. You should stand too. However, it turns out that they were talking to the guys next to me, luckily. But so I was worried that I got roped into them because I started speaking for them at first, because not knowing that they were talking to them. But so they start going back and forth with the guys next to me. And the guys next to me are saying the same thing. It's like, they won't sit the fuck down. So the guys behind him are like, well, you tell them to sit down. And they were like, no, we're not fucking doing that.
Yeah.
They're like 10 feet in front of them. Like, we're not going to go up to the fucking front row and say, yo, sit down. Like, no. Now, of course, there is a right and a wrong way to do this. And unfortunately, as much as I love Philly, a lot of people tend to choose the wrong way to do things. Yeah. So instead of just explaining that calmly, like, no, I'm not going down there. Just stand. Like, that's just the way it is. I can't see either. Instead, the guy responds to, the guy sitting next to me responds with, too fucking bad, not my problem. Figure it out. And I'm like, okay, great.
I was like, oh, here we go.
I was also like, here we go. So keep in mind, like, you can see, if you go back and watch, at one point I do turn around to say something to the guy, and I do say something. So at this point, this guy's getting hostile. So I'm like, fuck, I hope I don't get drawn into this because they think I'm with him, because I'm not with him. I thought they were talking to me. Anyways, so they just start going back and forth. And they're really going back and forth. They're talking about, like, after Dynamite, I'm going to beat the shit out of you. It's going to be a whole fight. Yeah, I know, Big T. It's ridiculous. Why should we be the guys because they can't see? At the end of the day, you pay for the ticket. You should, if you go to a wrestling show, or really anything, it happens at concerts, it happens at Eagles games. People stand for these things. Yes, you have a seat, but it is what it is. And Old Man Jeff should have worn Dr. Schultz. He should have known that he was going to be in pain, so he could stand for when he needed to. These guys, same thing.
Here, let me throw a quick opinion of mine in here because it fits right exactly where we're at in the story here.
Sure.
So the people in the very front, like up against a rail, they're the ones that paid the most for their tickets. I would imagine they paid close to $2,000 at least for those tickets, right? So guess what? They get to determine when everyone else behind them has to stand up as well. So if they stand up in the front, guess what? The second people are standing, then the third people, then the fourth, and it trickles all the way the fuck up. And if you don't like it, sit down and deal with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. Anarchy in the Arena Part 2. That was funny. Really funny one. Anyways, so moving on. So so eventually, and again, I recommend going back and watching this match and just watching the crowd, because this happens. So eventually, towards the end of the match, the crowd in front of us on the ground floor, they sit down. It's like not towards the end of the match, I think, if I recall correctly.
Like three-quarters.
They sit down. So, and you can see me. I'm like, okay, well, again, I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm just trying to watch my wrestling and get my money's worth. So they sit down in front of me. I sit down. Now, of course, it just can't be the end of the story, can it? So the two guys to my left, they stay standing. The one guy sits down pretty quickly. Like, he was trying to be a dick, but he was like, nah, fuck it, I want to sit down. The other guy, who was, I guess it was 2 seats to my left because it was 2 of them, he remained standing, and he's the only guy standing. Everyone in front of us sat down. Everyone in our row sat down. It's just this one guy, right? And so they're like, you can sit down now. And I hear him whisper to his friend, it's a fucking point now. I ain't fucking sitting.
Yeah. That's
And
when I was
so
like, this dude's gonna get punched. I was like, this
I
dude's
know,
literally
I was
gonna
like,
get
this
punched
dude's
in the
gonna,
back of the head on live TV.
I was like, this dude's gonna get his ass beat, and then people are gonna want to be like, I just don't want to, I don't want to be a part of it, because I'm right here, and again, like it just keeps escalating, and I know that people get hot headed, and I keep thinking back to like I shouldn't have turned around and said something because they do probably think that I'm with them, right? But then it gets worse for me because the guys behind him start heckling him, and they were fucking hilarious.
Oh, it was great.
They were so fucking funny
Yeah,
about him standing there, right? And I was fighting everything to start like just dying.
yeah.
Excuse me. Like I was really I even turned to you and I was like, dude, I can't right now. I really can't do this. I'm going to lose my mind. I probably do laugh. Like if you go back, if you do watch it, I
Oh,
probably do
for
laugh.
sure you were. You were looking at me laughing like, dude, this is hilarious.
Um so to get to the end of the story, they heckle him. He keeps like leaning down to talk to his friend and like kind of like bullshitting with them, like, "Oh, I'm gonna sit down." Oh, and
Yeah.
stands right up. And so like again, just fucking hilarious. I'm sitting there worried like everybody's gonna want to kick my ass because I'm laughing at the guys next to me. I'm associating with the guys next to me. I feel like, which probably not the case at all. No one probably gave a fuck that much, but that's just me. And then and finally, they get him to sit down. What they do is everyone is still sitting except for this one guy, and they start chanting, "You're a virgin!" Clap, 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 clap.
I think it was
You're a
he's a
virgin.
virgin, kind of like, and they were pointing at him.
And everybody, which group of guys cut the better promo? Oh, the guys in the back. Well, because they were
Yeah.
hilarious. They were talking shit, and they were hilarious. The guys that were sitting next to me, they were just talking shit. They weren't funny.
No, yeah.
Like they thought they were so cool by standing there. They weren't. It was like, okay,
And
whatever.
that was an interesting situation as well because, this can happen if you guys are ever out in real life doing stuff. So when the situation first started, the guys behind you that we think are hilarious now, those were the dudes that I wanted to, tell to shut the hell up. I was like, just deal with it. Shut up. You
Right.
know what I mean? But by the end of it, I was now on their side because of the way that the other dude started acting just to make a point. You know what I mean? He's like, I'm going to be a dick just to make a point. At that point is when I turned on him and I was like, I want to punch this dude now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so it was a
Heel
pretty
turn,
weird
man.
situation where I was on one group side at the beginning and then at the end I was completely flipped.
Yeah, completely the same. It was a
Fucking
heel
heel
turn.
turn.
It was a double turn. It was
Yeah, the
crazy.
dude heel turn next to you.
Yeah, it was wild. But yeah, so they start chanting "You're a virgin," and everybody in the front row, or at least like half the people in front of us, turn around and look at this dude.
Oh,
And
yeah, it was great.
yeah, and I'm just dying. Um, and so he does end up sitting down at this point.
Oh,
Now the interesting thing,
he immediately
yeah,
was like, "Fuck, I'm toast," and he just sat down.
yeah, they're like, fuck, they got me. Funny thing was, so they kept talking shit like they were gonna fight. They were like, I'll see you after Dynamite, I'm gonna kick your fucking ass, yada yada, this, that, and the third. Those two guys next to me, when you watch Rampage on Friday, you'll see they left.
They have been replaced by a couple of girls from Elevation.
Yeah, that was the other cool thing. I mean, I was gonna talk about it when we got to Rampage, but when you watch Rampage on Friday, we are going to go over some Rampage spoilers tonight, but we'll let you guys know before we do it. But if/when you guys watch Rampage on Friday, the girls sitting next to me were the wrestlers that wrestled on Elevation this upcoming Monday,
Yes.
which was very cool.
Yeah, that was
Um,
really cool.
yeah, it was really cool. I had a few words with them, had a little short conversation. I didn't want to be obnoxious. They had already worked, and like I just wanted to let them come out and watch the show. But I said they did fucking awesome, and
I
we talked
nerded
a
out.
little bit.
I nerded out though that you know
Yeah,
there was a segment in the show that I was like, oh my god! I was like, tell her she's amazing.
yeah. Yeah, I remember you did. But anyway, so yeah, back to this match. We talked about everything but the match for the last 20 minutes. This is a really good match. Juice Robinson said yesterday that he's a free agent. If this is a tryout match, I would say sign him. That's just
Yeah,
me.
try
Um,
out successful.
yeah, it was a really good match. He and Mox had a really awesome match, despite everything going on. I did catch most of the match, um, and it was a very enjoyable match.
Yeah, I mean, Mox versus Juice on AEW. What more could you ask for? I mean, I think the match could have gone a little longer. I was actually kind of surprised that it ended as quick as it did, but being there live, I think that's a little bit of a, it feels shorter than it actually was, maybe, but I would have liked to see them go a little bit longer.
That's understandable. All right. So next up, there was a quick video package for Darby Allin versus Jay Lethal for next Friday's Rampage. Not this Friday. There was a really weird misconception because
Yeah.
even in the video package, they said Friday on Rampage. However, it was not this Friday, which was last night. It was next Friday. Actually, I think they moved it to Dynamite.
I don't know what they did. I haven't looked yet.
I have it on the card. When we get to it, I'll look it over. But actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I think they moved it to Dynamite.
Okay.
All right. Next up.
So they kept. Big T says they really drove home on commentary that Juice is a free agent. Okay.
Yeah, I remember. I was gonna say because when I rewatched today, that was something I remember.
So that means when we see the graphic Juice is all elite, then we won't have to be like, wasn't he with NJPW? We can just be like, yeah.
Well, yeah, he said he's a free agent, but also the thing about AEW is you could still work those New Japan dates.
True.
Ghetto was literally backstage today, yesterday. Which, again, in case you weren't aware, I know because we weren't live last night. Ghetto, who is like the head of New Japan Pro Wrestling, the booker, he was in Philadelphia last night, discussing business with Tony Khan. He brought his boys with him. I mean, we did see some New Japan guys. We saw Rocky Romero on Elevation. And again, like you said, I think those three guys were from the dojo. So
yeah, it was nice to see Rocky Romero. The crowd actually popped big time when he came out, and he was the last one out of the tunnel. They were like, "Oh shit!" So that was cool.
yeah. Anyways, so next up was Saraya. She spoke, and I have a few things to say about this segment. What did you think of this segment? So basically, Saraya comes out. She talks about how she's here to light a spark and reignite the women's division. She asked the women's division to come out. This leads to a lumberjack match with Toni Storm defending her title against Serena Deeb. Before we get to the match, we'll talk about the segment. What did you think of it?
So I might be a little biased here because I was, fanboying out on Saraya, but I'm shocked at the backlash that it's getting. You know what I mean? Some people are complaining about the lumberjack match, being like, "Why? Where did that come from?" And I'm like, "Where does any lumberjack match come from? Other than a bunch of disqualifications or someone running out of the ring and getting purposely counted out? Like, I don't want that in AEW, but I still want to see lumberjack matches. You know what I mean?" So I don't get the criticism that it's getting for that. But I do see that Paige was very nervous to be on the mic there. She stumbled a couple of words here and there, but that happens to the best of them. You know what I mean? So I never knock anybody for stumbling on the mic a little bit or anything like that.
Yeah, it's Saraya, not Paige.
I said Saraya, didn't I?
No, you said Paige.
What?
Yep, you said
I
Paige.
even tried to mentally make sure I said Saraya.
Chat, please
All right.
confirm that he said Paige. He definitely said Paige.
Okay.
Anyways, yeah, Saraya was definitely very nervous. Yeah, and I felt bad for her. So I'm conflicted about this segment because upon rewatching it today on TV, I don't agree with the criticisms that it got in the sense of why were they doing a lumberjack match? Why is Saraya back? My concerns more so stem with I think that this segment, at its DNA, at its core, was a really good idea.
Yeah.
I really do.
Me too.
My issues with it stem from what's up, Meduja?
Yeah, what up, Meduja?
Yeah, what's going on, man? My biggest issues with this segment was number one. So Saraya calls out the women's division, and we get Willow, which love Willow, Toni Storm, love Toni Storm, Sky Blue, and Madison Rain for the babyface part of the division.
Yeah.
And then the heels come out, and it's Britt Baker and her group. My thing is that I feel like number one, it made your women's division look extremely weak. I understand Ruby Soho's out with a broken nose. I get that. I understand Sheeta is not back in the States yet. She's coming home soon, but she's not here either. I get that as well. I just felt like the women, I would have brought out all the women. The problem was is that they were doing this segment to set up for the lumberjack match, which I don't have a problem with the lumberjack match. My problem is more so. Oh, Athena came out too.
Yes.
My problem was more so. I just felt like, where was the bunny? Where was Ty Conti? Where was Anna Jay? I understand that they were in a segment earlier in the night, but if you're going to talk about the women's division and you're going to talk about putting over the women's division, which is the idea in this promo, this segment is to put over the women's division. Show your women's division. Like, again,
Yeah.
I understand that they're not at full strength. Where was Nyla Rose? Was Nyla Rose not at TV? And if she was, and that's fine, because I know that the Hurricane was a thing, but to my knowledge, the only wrestlers that missed TV because of the Hurricane were Swerve Strickland and Samoa Joe. And that was from Will Washington from Fightful. So where were all the other women? I think that's one of my biggest issues with this, is that I felt like there wasn't enough effort put into this segment to do what it was supposed to do.
So I actually feel like I'm wondering if maybe any more Tony may have thought would have been too many women out there, because we had, I believe, what did we have? 4 on each side plus the in the ring, so we had 10 women out there. You know what I mean? With Ty Conti and Anna Jay, I don't feel like they're part of the, how do I put it? It's kind of sounds weird. I don't feel like they're part of like the women's division in a wrestling aspect right now. They're just part of the JAS at the moment.
That's my point, though. That's the problem. We have these talented women here. We need to do that way. Purple might be right.
Yeah, I know what you mean. No, it's Saraya, like with a capital A. We got corrected on. She corrected everybody on Twitter.
Right. Okay. Everyone made me second guess myself. Anyways, so yeah, I thought that was a little weird. I felt bad because watching it live, I was so stoked to see Saraya.
Athena looked incredible.
Yeah, she looked great.
Love that outfit.
Her theme hits really well live. That was phenomenal.
Yeah. But
so the other thing that I didn't really like about the segment was, oh man, there was something about it where it's just, I don't know. Maybe it's the first point. It just felt like, where was everyone? Where was Jade? Where was all these other women that are part of the division? I just felt like it made the division look weak. And the other problem I had with it is that we still don't know if Saraya is actually going to be wrestling or not. I was kind of hoping we were going to get a more concrete answer there, and I know that the dirt sheet said she's not cleared. I know that she said she implied that she was cleared. Don't really know what's the truth at this point, and I don't mind if she's not wrestling, but I would like to kind of get a better understanding. I felt like this segment was trying to do, it had its objectives, it had its goals, but it just didn't accomplish those goals. Like, again, the DNA of this promo, this segment is really strong.
What I think happened here is that they used a sentence that they shouldn't have. When she said, bring the girls out, she was like, bring the women's division out here.
Yeah.
That's not what happened. We had the feud of Britt Baker's team versus, I guess Paige's team. I guess we're just going to call it the heels versus the faces.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's kind of like, I don't want to call it a faction, because the face team isn't really a faction at the moment. They're just a bunch of good girls that are kind of like helping each other out. But we basically have a faction that came out against these girls. It wasn't like the whole division. So I don't think they should have used that wording. You know what I mean? She should have just been like, where's my backup or something like that. Something like that. I think they just used a little bit of wrong wording there.
Yeah, I guess so. But I mean, we still got to take it at face value, and it's what it is.
Yeah.
I do agree with you, Juan. Based off the amount of money she's making, it is pretty clear that she's going to be wrestling, but I would still kind of like to see that clarification.
I don't know, man. I feel like a couple of the words that she has said has led me to believe she might not actually.
I don't know.
We'll see.
She says at the beginning of the promo, she says, "I'm damaged, but I'm not broken," which is what leads me to believe that she's going to wrestle.
Well, see, that's what led me to believe she actually won't. That's kind of funny that we both took the same thing the opposite way.
Yeah. Well, it reminds me of like when CM Punk got hurt after Double or Nothing. He's like, the machine's not broken, the wheel just fell off.
Yeah.
So like that's how I took it. I mean, I just took it as she's working through her issues, but she's not done. That was how I read it.
Gotcha. Well, what I was thinking she was saying is like, I may not be able to do this anymore, but I am still able to go and do this. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. We'll see. I hope she can wrestle. I 100% hope she can.
Yeah. But so yeah, this leads to a lumberjack match where Saraya does join commentary, which I heard that today. And it wasn't bad. It was good. Not the match, her commentary. Still a little, would like some more clarification on her role. I had this moment yesterday where I kind of fantasy booked something in my head last night when I got home. So for those that don't know, we were talking about it on the way to the show yesterday, Jeff. But Sasha Banks changed her Twitter handle. It was Sasha Banks WWE, and now it's just Mercedes Renato, her name. So part of me, fantasy, complete fantasy. Again, I'm not expecting it. I'll be very happy if this is what happens. But could this be the way that they introduce Mercedes into AEW? Oh, got me there. Saraya. Like Soraya's like, I'm here to revolutionize the women's division. I mean, is there anything better, a better way to revolutionize this division than to bring in Mercedes?
Oh my God.
Again, it's just speculation, but she changed her Twitter handle, and then I also noticed someone pointed out on Twitter that her Instagram she changed like as soon as she made that change on Twitter, her most recent follow was New Japan Pro Wrestling. And like
That's so weird.
it's so weird. Like
Wait,
I
Naomi did
don't
it too?
know. Yeah, Medusa saying Naomi did it too. I didn't see it, but I did see that Mercedes changed hers. Um, and people were making arguments. Well, clearly she's going back to WWE, but people said that they said that about Bryan Danielson and Adam Cole.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think we are going to enter a very interesting territory in the next few years where Triple Paul has come into the Fed and he's made it very clear that he's going to play things the same way Vince did. So Tony Khan, you might start seeing Tony Khan doing what he's got to do. Maybe he's going to pay Mercedes a lot of money, which he should. I don't know.
Okay, Naomi doesn't look like he was correct. He says he's mistaken.
Okay. Yeah, Big T, I thought that too. I was like, maybe she's just throwing off the set.
Yeah, I thought
Absolutely.
that also.
Again, complete fantasy booking.
Trying to get more money?
Maybe. I mean, maybe. Again, like this is not me sitting here saying I definitely think this is going to happen. It's just a thought, but it's just something to keep in mind. We'll see. But so anyways, yeah. Next up was the AEW Women's Championship match, interim championship match. Toni Storm versus Serena Deeb in a lumberjack match. Really good match. Really, really good match.
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed the match. Like I said, I'm really surprised this whole thing got, the I don't want to say hate because it's not getting like super hate, but people are just kind of like me picking it apart. And I'm like, listen, we had 10 women featured for almost 10 to 15 minutes on AEW. Huh?
It was more like 20.
Yeah, I mean, they were featured 10 women, like the whole half the division, at least more than half, was on TV, just like everyone's been asking. And then they do it and everyone's picking it apart, trying to complain about it. So,
and I get it, and I don't want to hate on it either. And
yeah.
I don't have an issue with the match itself, but again, the segment just fell a little short. And unfortunately, Saraya she was clearly nervous.
Yeah.
Dropped the ball a little bit. I'm not going to nitpick that. It's her first time back on a mic in a ring in 5 years, 6 years, whatever it's been. Excuse me. I'm not going to nitpick that. I am going to I am going to criticize the shortcomings of the segment.
I got you.
But no, this match was really good. The match, people should not be picking this match apart. It was a really good match.
Yeah, I agree. Big T says that would be wild if she makes her debut and wins the interim championship. A lot of people want to see her versus Thunder Rosa. I'm assuming he means Mercedes, right?
Maybe.
This might sound weird, man, but I'm over Thunder Rosa for real. Like, I went back and watched a few of her matches, and I was just like, okay.
Yeah. And to go back to the promo a little bit, Britt did some good work. Big T mentioned it. I think Britt kind of really helped move this segment along in a good way. It was really good. We did, however, make sure our voices were heard, and we started a Jamie Hater chant
Oh
because
yeah.
we fucking love Jamie Hater.
Oh yeah. I also
Yeah,
I actually started that chant for when Soraya said I'm back. I was like, welcome back, and it instantly caught on. That was cool.
yeah, again, and that's why I feel really bad about this segment kind of being a miss because I feel so good for Soraya to come back and do her thing, whether it's in the ring or out of the ring. I'm sure it's whatever she is able to do and that she wants to do. So I think that that's great. Um, it's nice to have a
I
boss
agree
that
with
finally listens
Juan.
to
I think
her.
Britt cut a great promo as well.
Yeah, it's nice that Soraya now has a boss that finally listens to her. A very wild,
Yeah, see,
novel
that
thing.
was the one thing that Juan didn't like that she said, but just about everybody that leaves the E and comes over, that's kind of the consensus of like what one of their main reasoning of why they left is, you know what I mean? So I get it,
Yeah,
Juan. They kept paying her for a long time without her being on TV, but at the same time, they could have, things could have been different. We'll put it that way.
yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, like these people, they if they're not happy, I think they have every right to say they weren't happy. I
Yeah.
mean, that
The
that
Jamie
goes both
chant was
ways.
caught on camera big time. Hell yeah, it was. How
Oh
about
yeah,
the
it got over really
how
good.
about the oh wait, I don't know if the F Ben Simmons was during
No,
Dynamite or
that was
Rampage.
Rampage.
That was
That was
Rampage.
Rampage. Um, but so yeah, this was a really great match. Tony Storm ends up winning this match, retaining her title via a pile driver off the second rope, or was it the top rope?
Yeah, I couldn't tell. I think it was the top rope, but it was nasty looking. Whatever it was, I want to go back and rewatch Dynamite. I have it DVR'd so I can hear the commentary.
Yeah. But so yeah, this was really good. I really enjoyed this match. It was good. It was really good.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I love this segment from the beginning to end. I get it that there was a couple of things that could have been better, but obviously Paige has been gone. Paige. There you got me that time. But Soraya's been gone for a long time, and that's only expected. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Yeah, I did go back and watch it today. The commentary again. I wasn't really taking notes. I was working from home, so I might have missed a thing or two while I was doing it. But it wasn't too bad. I don't recall anything. Nothing really stood out to me that I remember about it being too bad. Um, but
the
yeah,
only thing that stood out to me is she said I started the revolution here, and then I'm gonna start the revolution here. Like she said, AEW was the revolution twice when she meant one of them was the WWE. But
yeah,
it was just like one word. I get it. Like I understood what she meant. It was no move on.
yeah. Same. I'm again. I'm not going to nitpick it.
Yeah.
She was emotional. She was, a little rusty on the mic. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. Like so purple, she's not what we would consider a hardcore fan that knows everything like most of us do that watch, like we know a lot of stuff. Big T1, we all know a lot. So she just thought it was Paige being emotional, because we were chanting for her big time. So, to the untrained eye, it didn't come across that way as well, so
Yeah, you said Paige again.
it's gonna happen for a little bit. That was my favorite women's wrestler for a long time.
Yeah, I understand. Um, so yeah, that was a good match. Moving on, we had Ricky Starks versus Eli Isom.
Oh, gotta
Ricky
tell you
Starks.
guys, Ricky
Yeah, go ahead.
Starks in person is way bigger than you think. Like he for some reason on TV, he doesn't come across as having like a large frame. He kind of has like that, I would just say like a average frame. In person, he was massive. I was like, "Holy shit, he's huge."
Yeah, he and Danhausen were the two that really kind of struck me. Like I really thought these guys were small. They are not. They are not at all.
I mean, we got a
Uh,
picture of Purple and Danhausen, and they're almost like the same height, so I'm not too sure about the Danhausen one, but yeah.
I mean, I saw him from across the room. I was like, he looked bigger than I thought he did.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Um, yeah, so this was a really quick match, but it was just to get Ricky Starks on the card. This guy's a star. He comes out and it's just the it factor. Like his music starts and everyone's out of their seats for this guy. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm a huge Ricky Starks fan. I hope this kid grows into, you know, an AEW world champion one day. It's gonna be fantastic.
Yep, I agree. All right. Next up, the main event for the Ring of Honor World Championship. Chris Jericho defending his title against Bandito.
Bandito.
I love this match. This match was fucking incredible. This was such a good match live. Like, oh my god, so good. Bandito stole the show. I mean, Jericho was phenomenal, but Bandito is just excellent. And we'll talk about what happened post match, but Tony Khan should sign Bandito. Like, he should already be signed. There's no argument in that. This guy is over as fuck, and he's got a really fun moveset. He's got a great look. I mean, he can't talk, but neither can Andrade. So
yeah, he doesn't need to. He's one of those silent guys that doesn't really need to talk. If you want him to talk, give him a mouthpiece. It's fine, no worries.
mm-hmm.
Man, at one point, Jericho booted him straight in the face, and with that kind of bandana style mask that he wears, he must have kicked him right in his nose, because for the rest of the match, the white on his mask slowly started turning red.
Yeah. Yeah, and Juan's right. AEW really is knocking out of the park with the Hispanic talent in AEW. I mean, they keep an eye on AAA and they keep an eye on CML, right? CML, or is it CMLL?
CMLL or something like that. I don't know.
One of the two. It's either one L or two L's. But yeah, I mean, they just do great with bringing in these talent. I mean, Ray Fenix, Penta. It's insane. And then Bandito is no different. This guy was fucking incredible. The spots that come to mind, really for me, the standing suplex spot where he holds Jericho up for a minute. I was arguing with Juhas about this today because live we counted to 57, and Juhas was like, "Oh, it sucks that he couldn't do it for a minute." But I went back and watched it today. We didn't start counting until like 5, 6 seconds into him holding him. So it was a minute. We just didn't start counting in time because we didn't know we had to count. So he did do it for a minute. So I want to give Bandito the props for that.
That was insane, dude. That was insane.
I think at one point you turned to look at me because I just started screaming when I counted. Because like I'm counting, I'm like 1 to 10, like okay, to 20, oh okay, 30. I was like, wow, holy shit. So 40, like when I got to 40, I was like, I shouted, I was like 40, like we're not like holy shit.
So let's see here. So Big T said, did he break his nose? I'm going to assume so, but maybe his nose bleeds easily, or maybe it was a lip. I don't know. They didn't say anything. Next after that, so have him join Andrade. My problem with Bandito joining Andrade is the thing with the masks. Andrade's been like, you don't need a mask as a Mexican wrestler, and he rips them off of everybody. So I wouldn't see him joining them. What I would like to see, hear me out, is the Lucha Brothers going heel on Pac and kicking him out of the Death Triangle and possibly having that trio together.
My only critique with that is it seems like they're more so having Pac turn heel by having to cheat to beat Orange Cassidy.
It definitely does. I'm saying somewhere in the future to give Bandito something, you know what I mean? But yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know if I really want anyone paired with Andrade at this point. I think Andrade and Rush and Jose. I think that's the money right there.
I agree. That's what I'm saying. I definitely wouldn't want to see Bandito with Andrade. No.
Oh yeah, but you were saying like have the Lucha Brothers turn heel and do that. I wouldn't have them do that either. Oh, or were you saying not join Andrade?
No, have Lucha Brothers join Bandito. Have Bandito join them, kicking Pac out.
Oh, well, Bandito's not really a heel, is he?
He could be. I mean, why not?
I think he comes off as more of a babyface. His moveset is much more akin to that of a babyface.
Bandito translates to Mexican outlaw. He could be whatever he wants.
Sure, but I'm just saying. I think it's a much more babyface centric character.
No, I agree. I agree. He's cool as hell though. I love that dude.
But yeah, the standing suplex was great. He does one part where he's holding Jericho up with just one arm.
The one arm.
There's actually a really funny story. If you go to Aubrey Edwards' Instagram, she posted a picture of him doing that, and everybody in the ring is like shocked, and around the ring shocked, and I'm right there in the picture, like in the middle, and I'm like shocked. I'm fucking everywhere on this show. I'm telling you, like it's not hard to find.
Juan, I've noticed that as well with Andrade. Hasn't been in the ring in a long time. And I know he got married to Charlotte, and I was kind of blaming it on that for a while, but I'm wondering if there's some sort of an injury that he's nursing, because he hasn't been in the ring for a while. I
I have a
agree.
theory.
Go for it.
I have a theory.
Let's hear it.
I think Andrade has asked for his release, and Tony has made it clear he's not releasing anybody. And so I wonder if they're just going to have Andrade be a manager.
Okay, I mean, I can see that.
Primarily. The reason for that is I think that Andrade's been he's been one of those bullshit cryptic tweeters. He tweeted something today with him overlooking a beach with a cup of coffee like in his hand. You don't see him, and it's just the coffee and the beach. And it's like hashtag free Andrade El Idolo. And it's just like,
Wait, he wrote that?
Huh?
He wrote hashtag free Andrade El Idolo?
Yes.
Oh, then yeah. Just let it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, it is what it is. Somebody, I don't know, like, I don't know how much this person knows, but I saw someone on Twitter today who was tweeting kind of about Andrade and how he is backstage. Again, I don't know how legit this guy was, but he was basically talking that it's not an AEW thing. He was just as unhappy in WWE. He sees himself as this guy, and he should always be the guy. The person said that Andrade will never work out in a major promotion because in a major promotion you have multiple the guys, and that's not just AEW, that's WWE as well. And so I don't know how legitimate this source is, but he was getting a good amount of traction. I don't remember what his name was on Twitter. I liked the tweet. But he was basically he went on like a 6-thread tweet about Andrade. He was just like, this guy asked for his release. He's toxic to your locker room. Tony Khan should just release him. He's the one that's lowering morale in the locker room, and I don't know if it's true or not, but I mean, I do think that he's probably one of the guys that Hunter reached out to, and his wife is there, and I mean, Hunter loves Rick, and Rick's daughter is married to him. I mean, it's just the way it is. And I mean, the opinion that I've made clear over the last month is, while I don't think Tony Khan should outright release these people because number one, that's how contracts work. If you don't want to do it, don't sign the contract. And again, I've always thought that both ways. That's not a biased thing. That's just facts. Like, while I did get a kick and an amusement out of Sasha and Naomi walking out, at the end of the day, they were still contracted. Shouldn't have done it, but I got a kick out of it. Doesn't mean I support it. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if you don't like it, that's why I don't have sympathy when people were re-signing in the Fed, and then we're getting squashed on Dark, or not Dark, sorry, main event. It's like, all right, well, don't sign the extension, don't sign the contract then.
Yeah.
No sympathy. But that goes both ways. So I mean, if Andrade, he shouldn't have signed the contract. So I don't think Tony should release anybody, but I definitely think that these people are cancerous for your locker room, and if they don't want to be there, I don't want to say send them home because that sucks. But I mean, you know for a fact that Tony will honor his contract. Like he doesn't release people. He pays people out. Like in WWE, he was signed to a contract, but it was basically a 90-day contract that renewed every day. That's what it was there. Here, Tony Khan, he's going to pay you for the contract you signed because it's called honoring a contract. It's this crazy thing. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of it.
I'm telling you, I'm going to do some fantasy booking here, or fantasy, I don't even know what to call it, because I want to see a trade. I want to see a groundbreaking, history-making. So all the guys that have wives or girlfriends over there, you all want to go? Let's do it. So I want to see I think it's 3 guys we got now. We got Andrade, we got Murphy, and we got Malachi, right? So we got 3 dudes who have wives or girlfriends over there. I think it's all wives now. Let's do something crazy in history making.
He's absolutely going to say that.
Yeah, Juan, that's actually number 1 on my list at the moment. Mustafa Ali. I'll take him.
Mm-hmm.
The other 2 would be very hard to figure out who I would want. I don't know if they've actually cultivated any young talent that I actually want at the moment. You know what I mean? Like,
to trade the 3 for Mustafa Ali.
Well, that's the reason I'm thinking like that 3-way trade wouldn't be fair in AEW's favor. We'd have to come up with something,
See, I understand your fantasy, but I don't want to shit on this. But like, I think the thought of this that you're entertaining is so like it would never in a trillion years.
That's what I thought about the UFC trading a fighter with another fighting company, and it happened,
It's
man.
not the same. It's not the same thing. It's
How
not
is
the
it
same thing
not?
at all.
It's exactly the same. It is
No,
literally
because
the same.
no, it's not the same. WWE wants to be the only game in town. They want the monopoly. They would rather keep everyone that they have and steal AEW's guys.
So does
They don't want to
UFC.
give AEW anything at this point. They've
You
already
know
learned their lesson.
the
Triple Paul is sitting there in fucking Titan Tower being like, man, it really sucks that we cut all these excellent talent and they went to AEW and love working there now,
okay
except for the ones who have lives here.
the UFC's first competition was called Pride Fighting. What did they do? They bought it and they absorbed all of their fighters. The
I'm
next
not saying it
competition
doesn't happen, but it's just not the same thing.
the
It's
next
just not.
competition was Strike Force. What did they do? They bought it and they absorbed all of the competition. So I can easily compare the UFC to WWE. They actually talk to each other. They use the WWE's storylines now in the freaking UFC to try to book
Friends
fights.
with Dana White too. Dana White plays both sides of this war,
Yeah,
Jeff.
he does.
He's friends with Tony too.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is you can easily compare two wrestling companies to two fighting companies, and they actually traded somebody. So I'm saying it's possible. Like, of course, it's a very, very unlikely thing to happen. But Tony Khan's in the world of football, and trading players may be in the back of his mind, and he may try to make it work. What up, Sabak?
Three things. Number one, what's up, Sabak? Number two, there is a big difference between football teams in the same league making a trade for the sake of their team inside of the league.
That I agree with.
Like, football teams are competing on the field, but we don't hear about like, oh, the Eagles beat the Giants in the ratings. Like, no, it's all NFL football ratings. Nobody talks about that. I mean,
I agree with that. I do agree with that.
Number three, this dude was fucking contract tampering weeks ago.
Oh yeah, I know.
And you think that like Triple Paul or Tony Khan are just gonna actually have a civil conversation on the phone, being like, "Hey, look, I know you want Andrade, Buddy Murphy, and Malachi. What if we we'll give you Mustafa Ali, which I don't dislike Mustafa Ali, but that like I wouldn't trade even if we were like entertaining trades. I would not trade any three of those guys for Mustafa Ali. I don't dislike Mustafa Ali, but I would not make that trade.
I would have to say if it had to be one of the three, it would definitely be Andrade for him. I think Andrade's maybe barely above average in the ring, if not.
Average. See, no, but like Shinsuke, yeah, okay. Like, all right, if we were gonna entertain trades, I would go like I would ask for too much. I would be like Finn Balor, Kevin Owens,
yes,
Nakamura, like which that would just be a no because those guys are
Shinsuke. Oh, there's a good one.
Yeah. Anyways, it's just not the same, and I don't think it would ever happen. But yeah, excellent match. I like the spot again with the one-handed holdings. They did a destroyer off the top rope. That was fucking nuts.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I think they did a Hurricanrana out of the ring. Jericho really worked hard here. He let Bandito do all his signature stuff. I love his, I don't know what it was called, but he kind of like goes like that and then he runs, flips, springboards off the ropes into a German suplex pin.
That was awesome. Yeah, that was actually really cool.
That was sick. Big T asked, was there any update on the ROH deal yet? No, but I think that they put the title on Jericho to get that TV deal. I would not be surprised.
The only update right now is they actually said that Tony said he has been in constant talks with Warner about the TV show. So it is currently being talked to with Warner.
Yep. Andrew Zarian from the Matt Man podcast said that Tony could very easily get a bad deal if he wanted it. He's been offered bad deals for it, deals that aren't good for the company. Tony's trying to get a good deal, so he's kind of holding out right now. But Warner Discovery's made it clear they want wrestling.
Meaning like Access offered, hey, we'll play it on Access.
Right, yeah, they were probably like put it on Access for an hour on fucking Saturday mornings at 6 a.m.
He was like, no thanks.
Yeah, no, we're not going to do that. They're probably holding out to get like a Thursday prime time slot. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe not prime time, but like maybe like Thursday at like 10, Thursday at 9. I could see that working. But But so yeah, towards the end of this match, Jericho ends up beating Bandito. He hits the. Does he hit the juice effect? No, he puts him in the Lion Tamer.
He put him in I think all 3 versions of that.
Yeah, he did the walls earlier in the match, then he did the Lion Tamer to end the match.
He got him to tap out.
After the match, Jericho calls the Ring of Honor ring announcer to the ring, and Jericho says that he is going to completely destroy Ring of Honor and everything that it represents. He's going to beat every single great Ring of Honor world champion, which does include CM Punk, if we're being honest.
Which includes who?
Huh?
Which includes who?
Phil Brooks.
Yes.
He is a Ring of Honor champion. I don't know. But Jericho says he's going to beat every great Ring of Honor champion. He's going to beat every Ring of Honor announcer, referee, or no, he said commentator, referee, and announcer. And the Ring of Honor announcer is like, oh no.
He's like, what?
Jericho punches him in the gut and gives him the Judas effect, which he sold really well.
He didn't even have to sell it. He ate that Judas effect for real. Like, he got him.
That's what I meant. Jericho like really fucking nailed him with it. And then Dynamite goes off the air with Jericho holding the belt up. Post Dynamite, Tony Khan comes out. He checks on the Ring of Honor announcer to, keep the kayfabe going. He also goes to shake Bandito's hand. Bandito runs, gives him a hug, and lifts Tony up. That was really
that was awesome.
Based off that, I'm really hoping that it means he's signed.
Oh, dude, chat's getting me so excited here. They got Samoa Joe was an ex-champion. We got Christopher Daniels, an ex-champion. Oh, it's gonna be
somebody
so good.
Tweeted. I don't remember who it was, but somebody tweeted. Hold on one second. I'm gonna look it up. Somebody, a former Ring of Honor World Champion, tweeted at Jericho saying he was down and he's not in the company right now.
I did not know how much I wanted to see Christopher Daniels versus Chris Jericho. Oh,
that would be dope. That would be really good.
Oh, gimme.
Hold on, I'm just trying to.
So you're saying an ex Ring of Honor champion added Chris Jericho, saying, "Hey, like I'm down."
Yeah, I accept. Hold on, I just want to see if I can find it real quick.
Yeah, I'm trying to stall for you.
Yeah, no, I got you. Give me 1 second.
So yeah, we got Joe, we got Christopher Daniels, we got Christian. I believe Christian's an ex Ring of Honor champion, isn't he?
Well, so Jay Lethal, Samoa Joe, Roosh,
Homicide. He's got to still be wrestling. He was just wrestling a couple months ago.
Yeah. So yeah.
What you got there?
So this is just a list of former Ring of Honor World Champions: Jay Lethal, Samoa Joe, Roosh, Nigel McGuinness, Bryan Danielson, Adam Cole, Bebe, Austin Aries, Jay Briscoe, Kevin Steen, Davey Richards. I miss Kevin Steen. Davey Richards, which I think Davey Richards was the one that tweeted at him.
Okay.
Takeshi Morishima, Jonathan Gresham, which I don't know about that one. Tyler Black. I miss Tyler Black. Dalton Castle, Roderick Strong. Again, you're not going to see that one. Corey Paths, if you know who that is.
Fucking Adam Cole, dude.
Matt Taven, Bandito, Christopher Daniels, Eddie Edwards, PCO, Michael Elgin, Jerry Lynn. I don't think Jerry Lynn's going to get in the ring. Claudio, Homicide, Low Key, CM Punk, James Gibson, and Kyle O'Reilly.
Wow, dude, there's a big list of names there that he can go through. Adam Cole, 3-time Ring of Honor champion, I think.
Yeah. By the way, Corey Paths, for those who are probably like, what the fuck is Rome talking
Corey
about?
Graves?
No, Corey Paths. It's I saw Cody be referred to that, and I really liked it, so I'm gonna.
I thought it was Corey Graves' name.
Instead of Cody, it's Corey. Instead of Rhodes, it's Paths. It's the same thing. I don't take credit for it. It was on Twitter, but I really like it, so I might stick with it because fuck Cody Rhodes. So that was Dynamite. And that was post-show Dynamite. Tony Khan thanked everyone for coming out for Dynamite. He actually got booed because, for those that aren't aware, his Jacksonville Jaguars are playing our Philadelphia Eagles this Sunday, which I will be there for that too. It's a very polarizing week for me because I went from cheering Tony Khan to on Sunday I'm going to be booing Tony Khan. It's the one day of forever that I boo Tony Khan.
Yeah, and, I've been meaning to mention this for a while. There's a lot of other, I don't want to say like other podcasts, but some other podcasts that I watch have been like, man, Tony Khan's been getting booed lately a lot. Maybe he's not doing so hot. And I'm like, you guys are morons. He's going to football cities. Everyone's booing him because of the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's like, that's what's happening. I promise you.
Yeah, people don't understand. No, El Generico, to my knowledge, never won the Ring of Honor championship.
I don't think so.
I also really miss El Generico.
Hold on. I feel like he did, but it may not have been on your list, but we'll see.
He was not on the list that I just said, no.
All right, so that was a really good episode of Dynamite. I had a blast. This was excellent from beginning to finish. Like I said, I thought the women's segment was great. I might be in the minority there, but I loved it from front to back.
It had enjoyable moments, absolutely. It just fell short.
All right, so do you want to jump into Rampage here?
Sure, let's do Rampage. Okay, so everyone that's here right now. So usually we do obviously our Wednesday show and our Friday show. We are going to go through Rampage right now because we were there. Also, Friday night shows could be a little hard on old man Jeff. So I suggested that this week, since we were there, we'll do one big show tonight. If you don't want to see any spoilers for Rampage, that's fine.
Yeah.
Come back Friday night. This video will be there, available on youtube.com/The Broken Tables Podcast. Let's give everyone a few minutes. If they want to leave, they can. If you want to stay.
Well, yeah, I'm just going to say, here's where the spoilers begin. So if you don't want any spoilers, go ahead and, you guys can have yourselves a good night here and come back on Friday afternoon, or Saturday afternoon, and you guys can check out the rest of our review here. But I don't know if we're going to go into like super detail on it. I got a movie to watch here soon, but
yeah, I don't think it's going to be too detailed. I mean, I don't have any notes in it. I didn't get to watch it on TV yet, so.
Yeah, no worries. All right, so again, spoilers are starting. So if you do not want to hear any of the results of these matches, go ahead and have a good night now. Okay. All right. So I don't know if I have the order of this correctly here because it feels like they have this kind of scrambled up.
Okay, let's just go through it. I can piece the order together for you.
Gotcha. All right, so we have the Butcher and the Blade versus Private Party and versus the Acclaimed in a triple threat match for the AEW Tag Team titles, correct?
Correct. See you, Meduja. Juan wants to know what movie you're watching, Jeff.
I don't know yet, actually. Just, wife wants to do something, so I gotta, before she passes out, yells at me.
Speaking of which, can you ask Purple to send me some of the pictures from the show so I can have them?
Yes, I will.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, that was the first match. It was the AEW World Tag Team Championship match, the Acclaimed versus Butcher and Blade versus Private Party.
Yeah, this was great. I mean, obviously we had just met the Acclaimed, so we were super hyped for them to come out. Max Caster's rap was freaking awesome.
It was really good. It had a Ben Simmons line in it. I can't wait to watch it again tomorrow night.
I love the line about getting off Matt Hardy's nuts to Private Party. That was pretty good.
Yeah, I forgot Purple's watching. Purple, please send me pictures that you took of last night's show. Please,
yes.
Thank you. Yeah, just text them to me. I want to make posts and whatnot, but I didn't take a lot of pictures. Anyways, so yeah, this was a really fun match, really awesome match. It's this funny thing about Rampage that I always forget about, especially when I go live. But they always do these Rampage cards in reverse for me because I thought that this match should have went on last because it's
that's what I
claimed. That's just me.
That's why I thought that this was mixed up.
No, well, yeah. So I mean, they do it because they want to do the TV rating. It's a bad time slot for Rampage, so they want to have a big name to kind of get you in the door and hopefully keep you. But that being said, I mean, this was a really good match. Love this match. Love the Acclaimed. It was awesome seeing them. Crowd was super into them. They were chanting this.
Oh, scissor me, daddy. That was great.
Which these shirt, I'm so glad I got the shirt. For any of us that didn't, that wasn't here at the beginning of the stream, got this shirt. It was the last one they had. Not available on the website, just at live events. Was so happy to get it. Yeah, anyways, this is an excellent match. Don't want to go too into detail because I still want people to watch the show. But yeah, this is a really good match.
Yeah, absolutely.
With the Acclaimed retaining their world championships.
Yeah, obviously they retained. And excellent match. If you're thinking about watching Rampage, you definitely want to at least see this the first couple matches actually, which we're gonna get to the next one here next. You definitely want to see this match as well.
Argue
So
all three of the main 4 matches were very good.
yeah. So next up was Jamie Hayter versus Willow Nightingale. This kind of came out of, the women's segment earlier in the night on Dynamite there. And man, this match blew me away. Like we all know Jamie Hayter's awesome. This is one of the most organic crowd loving, someone that wasn't being pushed. Kind of like it's almost like a Bryan Danielson-esque thing with the crowd just absolutely just refusing to boo Jamie Hayter, even though they want her to be a heel for whatever reason at the moment.
It's like the Acclaimed.
Yeah, it's exactly, yeah. So Jamie Hayter's just the crowd has chosen you.
Yeah, when the fans know what they want, at the end of the day, like the fans are always right, and that will never change, and that is something that WWE forgot about in the prior last decade. Is that at the end of the day, the fans are always right, and if the fans want this, you need to go with that, and that's just the facts.
I mean, of course they could, Juan, but they would lose a little bit of revenue there. Depends on if they want to lose that revenue or not. Picture in picture costs less.
Yeah, I mean they do mostly picture in picture.
Yeah, there's a lot of it.
There is a lot of picture in picture on. Like, I don't think. Do they ever not do picture in picture during a match?
Sometimes the picture in picture stops and then it goes into a full commercial for me.
Oh, yeah, they'll do like one commercial to end a picture in picture, like a full one. But generally speaking, they always do picture in picture during matches.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they already do kind of. So yeah, what was the next match?
So after the Jamie Hayter, we'll give we didn't give a result on this one. So Jamie Hayter does defeat Willow Nightingale in an absolutely incredible match. Like, it's not often that I look over at Rome and I'm just like, dude, that was a really freaking good match. Like I was like in shock. Both of these girls were amazing. So yeah, Jamie Hayter versus Willow. If you're gonna watch Rampage, watch these first 2 matches. They were fantastic.
Yeah, I got distracted with the chat. I forgot that I didn't even give my take. Yeah, this is an excellent match.
Yeah,
really loved it. It was really good. It was probably my second or third favorite match of the night.
Agreed. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Next up was Lee Moriarty defeating Fuego del Sol in a pretty quick. Would you call that a squash?
It's one of those. It's right above a squash. They let Fuego get some offense in, but the point of this match is to get Lee Moriarty over. Juan, what's a star rating? I mean,
a solid
it's
375.
I would dip into a 4. I would say that the crowd was a little tired at this point.
Yeah.
And that would be the one thing that kind of held it back. I think the in-ring action itself was really good. All it would have taken was a little bit more of a pop from the crowd because we were a good crowd, but Rampage gets really tricky. It gets really difficult. Like, you get past that first match of Rampage, and you kind of like die down for the next match until you get to the main event. At least here in Philly, that's how it is usually. But it was really good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Juan. So like a solid 3.75 to, I could even stretch to a 4 for mine. Yeah. Yeah. Next up was that Lee Moriarty, Fuego del Sol. I think he was asking about the Jamie Hayter and Willow match, right?
I would assume so. I mean,
yeah. So Lee Moriarty just. I don't want to say he destroys Fuego, but they let him get a little bit of offense in, but then Fuego goes down pretty much in one fell swoop. Morrissey was there to give Fuego a gigantic 7-foot tall choke slam after the match. It was pretty good.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No.
I was just going to get on to the next one here.
Yeah, I'm good. Go ahead.
Next up was Ryan Nemeth coming out to insult Philadelphia. Nemeth, it's tough because we have MJF and he's almost playing the same character as MJF is at this point here. Like, he was trying to insult the crowd and the sports teams, and he's from Hollywood, and it works but it's just like, all right, MJF is here, so it's kind of like, you know what I mean? But I thought it was great. Um, he definitely pissed off the crowd, and who comes out but the handsome devil himself, Hook, comes out to the ring and basically just beats Ryan Nemeth's ass. He judo throws him, I think it was either 2 or 3 times, just threw his ass around the ring and then choked him out. Wait till you see this on Rampage, because when he choked him out, I have a feeling they put a camera directly in his face while he was getting choked out. The big guy with the mohawk that looks like Claudio, I'm pretty sure was like in his face while he was getting choked out. So that should be awesome on TV.
Yeah, definitely. There was a really, really cool segment. I can't wait to watch it again.
Yeah. Little interesting part at the end there was the Trustbusters came out, or at least Arya Davari, with somebody who looked like a lawyer. He was in a suit, kind of like Jose. And was that somebody I should know? I didn't recognize him.
I thought you've been watching Dark.
I have not seen the last Dark.
He's been on Dark for like 3 weeks.
Who is that? Am I just not recognizing him, or did I just not remember him?
So that's the new that's the butler of the Trustbusters.
Okay.
That's
I vaguely remember that.
Yeah. So he was on the Indies, I think he was JSK or something like that, but now he's Jeeves SK or something.
Okay.
So I don't remember his name. I know his name is something like that. It's Jeeves K or Jeeves SK. But he's been on Dark. He actually wrestled this past Tuesday.
Oh, okay. I might have to go check him out then.
Yeah, he's just Parker was not there.
No, Parker was not there.
Sonny and Jeeves.
Yeah, and I have a feeling Parker lives in Florida because he was an NXT guy, and
yeah. For those that aren't aware, also, I mean, by this point you should be. AEW did have some major changes to its show this week. Tony let everyone know that if you're in Florida and you got to take care of your family and you got to take care of the storm, TV is completely optional this week. So again, Swerve was supposed to be on the show. He was not there. Samoa Joe wasn't there. There was other talent that, to my understanding, weren't there. But I mean, it was still a really good show regardless. We made it work. It's a very strong roster. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So the butler sat down like a silver platter on the ground, and it had a big old check in it. And as Hook left the arena, he bent down, picked up the check, and continued walking through the tunnel. So it looked like Ari Davari paid Hook to kick Ryan Nemeth's ass, I guess. That's what that seemed like to me.
No, I took it more so. I think Ari Davari wants Hook to join the Trustbusters.
But why would he grab the check then? Hook ain't gonna join them. Maybe he just wanted the money. Just like,
maybe it wasn't. It might not have been a check. Maybe it's like an offer.
Oh,
you know
okay.
Maybe it is a check. Maybe it's a check because he's got that kind of money to flaunt.
That's what I was thinking. It came off to me like they paid him to kick his ass. So we'll see.
No,
I don't know.
I don't think that. That would make no sense. I think Ari Davari made it clear that his character is that he wants the best talent in the industry that he can get, and so he's going around,
Hook's a bully.
You misspelled hero.
So. I was gonna say only if you give him a reason to be.
Hook is not a bully.
No.
Ryan Nemeth was literally bullying the city of Philadelphia.
All right. So next up, we had Roosh against John Silver, the Johnny Hungy from the Dark Order.
I'm gonna take pride.
What's that?
I'm gonna take pride in saying that I was the only man in the building booing the Dark Order.
Yeah, he was definitely booing the Dark Order. Everyone else seemed to enjoy them. Granted, they've been a little stale lately. I don't think they're that bad. John Silver always puts on a great match. It's always entertaining, but I agree that at the moment they have no direction. They have no purpose other than just being out there to lose some matches. And, there's some crowd favorites, but I get it. But it was still a great match.
We're going to talk about the rating in a little bit, but I'm still trying to get some more information on that. The first quarter of Dynamite yesterday did 1.2 million viewers with 560,000 in the key demo.
Nice.
That's really good, everything considered. Anyways, yeah. Sorry, I just wanted to bring that. I'm still trying to find some news on the quarter hours.
Oh, you're good.
I know we're
So
going to be talking about
Roosh and John Silver had a fantastic match. Obviously, Andrade El Idolo and Jose the assistant were causing as much distraction as they can. Roosh defeats John Silver there at the end with his big drop kick into the corner. And, everybody jumps in the ring and starts beating up Reynolds and Silver. And who comes out for the save but the Hangman, the Cowboy, Adam Page.
Yeah. So, this is a really good match. I enjoyed one part, and I do wonder if it'll make TV. I don't know if I was loud enough, but at one point the crowd kind of sat down and was very quiet, and it was like the tail end of the crowd being hype, and I just yelled, "Kick his ass, Roosh!"
Yeah.
I hope I make TV. I don't know if I'm going to, but I'm going to be listening on Friday to see. But I got a kick out of that. That being said, I don't hate the Town in the Dark Order. I just hate the Dark Order. John Silver had a phenomenal match here with Roosh. Probably the third or fourth best match of the night. Yeah, that's a fair assumption. I think that's a fair. Go with fourth. It was a really good show for wrestling. But yeah, it was a really good match. I loved they did this spot where I know we're not going over too many spots, but they go and they fight near the timekeeper's table, and they splash water bottles on each other.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. But they do that because they get back in the ring and they go to do chops, and like the water just explodes off of them. It looked so cool.
Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna come across on TV. I hope it does. But the way that the lights were hitting them and when they were chopping each other, there were like explosions of the water. Kind of like if you've ever played Tekken, you know how instead of blood, they have those like little explosions on the characters when they get hit.
Yeah.
It was really cool because we were real close. We could see it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the end of Rampage. Hangman came out for the save. I'm sure they go off TV and then we get a bunch of special stuff with Tony Khan coming out to the ring. And there was a cowboy out in the audience who Hangman takes his cowboy hat, he puts it on and gets in the ring. Danhausen demands the eye patch from Rocky Romero. He demands the cowboy hat from Adam Page and his boots. And he winds up putting all of them on. So we got Danhausen with an eye patch, a cowboy hat, and cowboy boots on. It was pretty funny there. And they send the crowd home happy with a big hug with the best friends and Danhausen and Tony Khan, and this was a great night. It was so fun. If you guys ever have a chance to go to one of the events for Dynamite or Rampage, you got to go. If you for the tickets that we got, we were basically ringside for about $103 for each ticket. As long as you're there early on the day that the tickets go on sale, AEW sends out emails with the code so you can get the pre-sales. And, as long as you're there early, it's not hard to get some decent tickets. And it's one of the funnest things that we do every couple of months. I absolutely love it. We'd love to see Hook versus Jericho. That'd be nice. Yeah.
That would be cool. Not really wrestling related, but Tua, the quarterback for the Dolphins, just got stretchered out.
Oh, shit. Tua Tagovailoa?
Yeah, I can never say his last name. Thank you. Tagovailoa.
No,
he just got stretchered out.
Oh, yeah. Fuck.
Still trying to find these quarter hours, but yeah, I'll have to go check out that later. But yeah, apparently he got hit. But yeah, so let me run through the preview for next week real quick, Jeff.
Yep.
Let me just pull it up.
I'm gonna see if I can find my my Amazon Prime here. Go check that out real fast.
Yeah, I was gonna watch the game once we wrapped up. So next week is the AEW Dynamite 3-year anniversary show. So it's a pretty big card. It's running out of Washington, D.C. We have MJF versus Wheeler Yuta on Dynamite.
It's going to be so good.
It's going to be really good. National Scissoring Day with the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn. Luchasaurus will be in action. Okay, yeah, Darby Allin versus Jay Lethal was moved to Dynamite.
Offense on the road.
Ring of Honor Pure Champion Daniel Garcia and Bryan Danielson will team up to take on Ring of Honor World Champion Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara. Well, yeah, that concussion protocol thing last week was real sketchy.
Well, he said it was my back, and I don't know how they listened to him. It was obvious he was like,
yeah, he was wobbly as fuck, and then he fell. Like, that's all you need to know. When you stumble after, like, his head slammed on the ground, he gets up and he's all like, and then he fell. No.
It's like, what do you need? Do you need some boxing referees to be your umpires or something? Because
I really think so. It's kind of crazy. Anyways, moving on to our next and probably last topic of the night, the ratings. So the ratings came out today, and I gotta say, they exceeded my expectations. So last night, Dynamite did 990,000 viewers on average, with a rating in the key demo of a 0.34. They finished number 9 on the number 9 in cable last night. So this is a very good number. Everything that beat them was news/weather coverage.
Yeah.
Obviously, yesterday with Hurricane Ian hitting the coast, hitting Florida, it was a really rough night for them. But the fact that they were very close to 1 million, and again, that first quarter apparently started at 1 million. I'm trying to get the rest of the quarters right now. It's another strong showing for Dynamite. And the thing that's been fascinating me with this, and kind of why I've been bringing them up a little bit more, is the fact that this is post Brawl Out. Like, this is without CM Punk. This is without the Bucks. This is without the Elite. Malachi hasn't been on TV. Like, a lot of guys that I consider as draws, and still do consider as draws, they're not there.
Oh, I just saw the hit on Tua.
I'm gonna check it out later. How bad is it?
It's a leg or a knee or something. It's not his head, like from the concussion.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. I got the quarter hours. Let's see. So yeah, the first one was 1.2 million. And that was the Jericho.
Wait,
hold on. This is not the right one. Sorry,
wait.
This is a different.
He's still in the game after the hit that I just saw. Hold on. Okay. Apparently, I didn't see what knocked him out.
He got stretchered.
Okay, now there's a stretcher.
Let's settle this on the show, Miro.
I'm trying to find this. Yeah, that's good.
It was the next play. Okay, here. Okay.
Yeah, keep doing it. I'm still trying to find this.
His ability to make adjustments at halftime.
All right, so he's dropping back for a pass. He's scrambling. Oh, dude, the guy suplexed him to the ground. Yeah, he's KO'd.
KO.
Yo, he's throwing up gang signs. His fingers are locked up, and he's like he's not actually, but like, when like dudes, I don't know if you've ever seen it when someone gets knocked out, but they kind of like stiffen up or they start shaking. He had his hands, and it looked like he was like making gang signs. That was crazy. That's 2 weeks in a row of a major concussion. He's not going to play for like 6 weeks minimum.
Yeah, probably not. All right, let's go through these quarter hours real quick, just briefly, nothing too crazy. So again, the Jericho Appreciation Society and Bryan Danielson segment did start off the show with 1.2 million viewers. They were able to stay up to above 1 million for the Danielson Matt Menard match. They dipped below for the Wheeler Yuta MJF segment, which is very surprising because it went back up over 1 million for Jon Moxley versus Juice Robinson. Huh, so wow, MJF actually, it went down when MJF came on this week. That's interesting.
They're going to say because Wheeler Yuta came out first, everyone was like, oh, click.
No, because they sold it on the title card as up next. We hear from MJF.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
And then it dipped below 1 million for the rest of the night. The lowest quarter was the second to last, which was filled with a bunch of smaller stuff. The Andrade Family Office segment with the Private Party was there. Ricky Starks versus Eli Isom was there. Jungle Boy promo, and then the first bit of Chris Jericho versus Bandito. That was the lowest of the night with 875,000 viewers. And then it went up a little bit for the main event, which was Jericho Bandito. But again, they averaged 990,000. They fought with that million, which is really impressive considering the news. It seemed like that first hour was pretty strong, and then once some news is start at 9 o'clock. They probably just jumped over to it.
Dude, this is going to be a big deal. The NFLPA is going to sue the shit out of the Dolphins medical team.
I'm going to have to look it up.
So not only was it last week, that was on a Sunday, right? This is only Thursday. This is a short week, and they're still letting him play.
Yeah, they said there was an investigation ongoing because they say he passed the protocol, but there's no way. Like, there's no way this guy didn't have a concussion.
To pass the protocol, all they do is they do a few tests on you. If you can pass those tests, it is what it is. Some people can pass them after a concussion. Some people can't. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean that just because you can pass it that you should go back out there.
Well, no, the concern is more so that the concern is more so that he straight up, like, didn't go through the protocol.
Yeah, I know.
That's the concern. Like, I know that people can pass it and still have it, but
what I'm kind of saying is, like, after the fact, it's obvious that it wasn't his back, it was his head, right? So they should be making him go through the protocol now, saying, well, listen, after the fact, it's obvious. We're making you go through the protocol. Let's do it. It's Thursday. He's only Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's only 3 days in between this.
The NFL tweeted out, or not the NFL, the Miami Dolphins tweeted out 2 minutes ago that Tua Tagovailoa, sorry, can't do that name, is out of the game with head and neck injuries.
Yeah, we know.
I haven't seen the hit yet. You should send me the hit.
I don't really know if I can. I'm like actually watching it on Amazon, and I just rewound it.
Well, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, hold on. I think I see the play. Hold on, let's see. Sorry, I got to turn this down.
It's at like 2 minutes and 26, like 2 hours 26.
Oh yeah, ooh, geez, he fucking slammed on the ground.
Yeah, he suplexed him. That was fucking Kenny Omega Dragon suplex.
Shit. What is he? He's like, oh man.
That's what I'm saying. He's stiffening up. He's having a seizure essentially. His hands are stiffened up.
That's really bad.
Yeah.
He was definitely concussed too.
Yes, that is exactly what a concussion like truly looks like when you're truly concussed.
That's really bad. That's really bad. All right, well, let's wrap up the show.
Yeah, let's wrap it up with that game watch along. Oh, not tonight. I am debating another watch along for Rampage though. I really do want to see us on TV and see it with you guys, but we'll see.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't want this to clash with, because we do want people to go back and watch this.
Yeah.
So I don't want it to clash.
All right. We'll go ahead and close us out, sir.
All right. Well, this has been episode 78 of the Broken Tables podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider giving us a like and subscribe, or a follow, depending on where you find us. Thank you to everyone who checked us out live here on YouTube tonight. Also, thank you to everyone that is, number one, not listening to us live, including the people that went back to watch the Rampage review. Really appreciate that. But thank you to everyone on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, and Anchor. You can follow us on Twitter at Broken Table Show, or on Facebook and Instagram at The Broken Tables Podcast. We go live on YouTube following every single AEW Dynamite, Rampage, and even pay-per-views. Jeff, we are on the fucking road to Full Gear, which we will be there for. I'm stoked for that.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, but everyone watch Rampage. I mean, I think right now, I don't know who else is here still. Is Juan here? Everyone
I don't
wants
know,
to watch
but... All right, AEW Galaxy. Thank you guys for watching Broken Tables podcast here tonight. And the train is leaving the station. So until next time, top guys out.